Welcome to All Eyes on You. I'm your host.
Ray.
That's what I said. Ray.
That's Josh.
Yeah, I think I might need to bring back the thing where I would say, like, welcome to All Eyes on You, the only podcast where...
Yeah, but you always struggle.
Don't tell them that. No one knows about how long that I would genuinely take up to maybe 10 minutes walking around in a circle trying to figure out what to say before we would shoot. People don't need to know that. No one needs to know that.
That's crazy. Look, they're watching you right now.
No. Just skip past this part. Wesley, cut this out. Or don't. I don't know. You can do what you want. But yeah, acting racist. That's crazy. Do like people who act, actors, they're called, do they put that on their resume? Can act racist? Racist accent? Willing to say N-word?
I've never seen it on a resume.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, where it's like, damn, wait.
I assume it's more that it's like, if you're going to audition for something that you know is like set in a very specific time, that racism is like integral to the story, you do sort of know what you're signing up for.
I get it for like Quentin Tarantino, because like that's what he does. But like he's big enough, of course, like literally A-list, where it's like if someone has the opportunity to like be casted in one of his things, you kind of have to know you might be saying something, and you kind of have to be like, well,
doesn't he have like a foot thing
Tarantino?
too?
Yes, he's a foot thing. In every one of his movies, he's a foot thing. So that's another thing where if you're a young woman who's going to be inside of a Tarantino film, your toes might be out, because that's what he does. He loves the dogs for some reason. But he also had some like really fucked up like opinions lately. Like he said Paul Dano isn't a good actor, which
objectively is just incorrect.
Just like it fucking he was in
my favorite
There Will Be Blood, which is he was great in. He was also in The Batman, which I don't know if you saw that.
I've seen clips of it, but he was great in
it's very good.
Little Miss Sunshine, where he's
his character
really good. His character doesn't speak for about 3/4 of the movie,
which is impressive in itself.
Impressive in itself, but then his breakdown scene, the first word that he says is fuck. And it's like a very well-earned, just like scream.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, I really like him in that movie, so I was like, okay, besides you being racist and weird to women, you're also just incorrect about actors.
Yeah, he's an interesting little goblin-looking man. Did you know Pulp Fiction he didn't actually write himself?
Yes, you've disclosed this fact to me several times. I do like talking
about it to people, because it's one of those things where people do consider him like, that's his magnum opus in a way, but he didn't actually make it. Essentially what Pulp Fiction is it's clearly an anthology, but each one of them was written by someone else, and that was like the initial project where it was like, several directors all had this different piece, and then like his job more or less was like combining it
together and put the pieces.
But then he put his name on it, so everyone only saw his name.
Well, it's like people always thinking that The Nightmare Before Christmas is a Tim Burton film, but it's not. He just created the character of Jack Skellington. Basically, everything else was Henry Selick. Same guy that did Coraline.
But you know who did do all the things himself? Oh, fuck. I was trying to segue into Markiplier.
I know. Markiplier, a YouTuber, very famous YouTuber.
Yeah.
Been around...
I don't know what year he's been around, but he started off making gaming videos, gaming content.
You might know him as... Was that the Bite of 87?
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. Interestingly, though, he did have, short film experience. Mm-hmm. And he has for, like, a while, because he would make his entire series about Wharf Stash and, like, all his alter egos. which definitely in space with Markiplier and what was the other one? Who killed Markiplier?
Yes.
Those definitely did help him kind of segue into his feature film Iron Lung, which
Based on the game.
Iron Lung.
Yeah.
Which is in itself also the fact that he picked Iron Lung, which is so interesting, is that it's out of all the games that he's played, he picked a game that you could finish in I think 2-3 hours.
Yeah, the video is a total of 45 minutes.
Yeah. And its own thing. There's not a sequel to it. There's nothing else. The lore is all written text, and he genuinely saw this and was so obsessed with it that he spent years of his life and $3 million
Years of his life. I don't remember.
I believe it was $3 million.
He had to create a render farm in his bathroom.
Yeah, because of the special effects, because he decided to edit it himself. He decided to do so much himself and fund it himself, which in itself is such a daunting task. Which if you do watch Markiplier, that time period, anytime he would make a video, he would always talk about how tired he is because he was doing so much work himself, because not only was he directing, but he's acting in it, which is just in itself it's impressive.
I mean, you don't watch podcasts, but he has a podcast with his friends, Distractable, and it was 2 episodes a week, so during those times you could also just hear more information and stuff about Iron Lung. I remember tuning in, and he's talking about different cameras. He was talking about his creation of the render farm.
I will say, I would notice in the background of his videos, now it's all cameras. His entire, he bought
He's obsessed
gear,
with cameras.
which I understand. You know this about me.
I know.
I love cameras. I buy cameras all the time. It's a problem. And I just kind of always want more cameras, and I like to use different kinds of cameras. But I like that he's into cameras. Him and Jacksepticeye. And Ethan Nestor, he said that if he wasn't a YouTuber, he wanted to be a cinematographer. Also, Jacksepticeye's making a movie.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
He's producing the Elden Ring movie. And he also, I think, was a part of another movie. So it's I kind of love that for them. Where it's they could be a creative trio almost. But yeah, Markiplier made Iron Lung about a game, and he acted and directed in it. And it did not have full backstory, so he came up with a lot. And you can tell he came up with it. Because, I kind of want to quote this, reel I saw where it was I'm trying to remember what the joke was, because it was one of those ones where it's someone having conversation from afar, and then it cuts an animal that goes monologue. Oh, it was a frog on a log, so it said on a log, because the whole thing was the 2 people were talking, and they were all oh, I liked Iron Lung, kind of. And then the other person was what? What do you mean? Name another person who can write a better monologue on YouTube. And it's yeah, that's Markiplier. He's a monologuer.
Yeah, I think, I'm trying to remember how I described it after we saw it, but it was you can tell that he was, and is, obviously he hasn't retired or anything, that he is a YouTuber writing a movie.
Yeah.
Just in that, it was very similar to, you're kind of just, talking.
Yeah, you're explaining to your audience what's happening.
It was a lot of telling and not showing, because as a YouTuber, as someone who's in front of a camera most of the time, not in the way for film and TV, it's you kind of do have to handhold your audience through what's happening, because they might not be watching the screen, they might have stepped away, there's different things that have YouTubers basically just giving you point by point what they are doing,
and having to remind you what they're doing,
telling you what's happening, which is then in the movie, which like I don't fault him for that, because he's just sort of sticking to what he knows and is comfortable with. And it's also hard because he's kind of the only character in the movie, the only visible character too. Like
literally, like you are with him 90%, 99% of the movie. There's like maybe a single scene with another person.
Yeah, and it's like a flashback scene.
I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about like the ship. Yeah, Jacksepticeye's in there.
Cameo.
By the way, spoilers. I don't know if this.
It's been
a while now.
But yeah, Jacksepticeye's in it. His character's name is Jack, and he gets radiation from
I wonder how they came up with that name.
Camera. I don't know.
But yeah.
And then there's that other woman where you see her very briefly, but then she's kind of just an intercom voice for the rest of it.
Yeah, but I will say what I really like. I do like the aesthetic. Like, I love the aesthetic. I admire the fact that, like, they took essentially the game and made it real.
Yeah.
Like, visually. I like that. I like the ship design because I do like the slight choices that they made with, like, the corner, for example. Because that's not in the game. Like, it is just, I think, right?
I don't know.
I don't remember. But, like, they had to change the ship slightly so that it worked better for the story, and then also just, like, you know, moving around the set. The creature's also really interesting, what they have there. I love the Eldritch things, because I like Eldritch horror. I did not realize it was Eldritch, actually, until... And, like, okay, here's the thing. I've watched all Markiplier's Iron Lung videos when they came out. We watched the movie, and then I did not realize it was Eldritch until I was watching, like, a little recap video, to be honest. Because, like, I know that he did say, like, he had some, like, issues with the editing for the audio, so I did miss some things there.
Yeah, he did. I do remember him talking about audio struggles.
Audio is hard. I will be very honest.
Like, that was, like, one of the things where I was like, yeah, the audio was... There were moments where it's like he was speaking, but it was very hard to hear him.
Yeah.
I think the movie could have been, like, 20 minutes shorter.
Because there were some parts where it did kind of, like, linger, and not in a backrooms way, just in, like, a... Okay, we do understand that he's, like, still traversing. I do, like, I will say, like, I do like that he was able to make a feature-length movie out of it, though.
Yeah.
Even though it was just him in a sub.
And I do think that is one of the cool things about the movie as well, is similar to Backrooms, that, like, they made the
Practical.
submarine.
All
Like,
practical. Like, 90% of it
is a submarine.
practical?
I
Would you say 90% practical?
I mean, it uses fake blood. There's no real, like,
blood,
CGI blood.
There are a lot of
in it.
prosthetics. I know the eel was an actual 3D render, because I saw the artist who made it, and that's, like, amazing in itself. There's the one scene where, like, he does kind of, like, emerge from the blood that I know is all CGI there. That's, like, the only, like, really CGI scene.
I think most of that, was for safety purposes, because they were trying to do it practically, and then he ended up in the hospital.
Oh, Markiplier.
He ends up in the hospital a lot, but that, like, if you're familiar with him and you're, like, you know a picture of him where his eyes are, like, really, really red, that was because he was filming Iron Lung. They were, like, bumping on the blood and, like, yoinking him around while he's trying to... And I think that was also why he decided to be in it, because he didn't want to submit another actor to be drenched head to toe in blood.
I do say that,
thrown
like,
around in a dumb little
for
submarine.
a lot of my own films too, if I'm trying something, I try it first, just because I'm always like, if I wouldn't do it or try it, I don't want to put someone else through it, because, like...
Yeah, like, unless you're gonna have more trained professionals on there.
Yeah.
But, like, that's why he's like, I'm doing that. I'm going in that submarine.
Yeah. But he's a writer, director, actor. That's kind of like his thing. Like, I feel like going forward he would do more, like, acting in his own things.
Yeah, because he did Edge of Sleep as well, and he acted.
Edge of Sleep was interesting.
He acted as the main character in that too.
I started the podcast before the show was fully, like, ever out or even a thing. I think they had announced it or something when I listened to some of it, and then I didn't finish it. Then I watched the show when it came out, and I went back and listened to the podcast. It has his monologue, because it is told through his perspective, and, you know, it is a podcast. Mm-hmm. See, one of those things. Back from last episode, I listened to a full podcast, and I liked it. Yeah, Just Sleep is interesting. I do, like, he has such a specific way for his own storytelling. Because, like, he's a yapper. He likes to talk.
He does like to talk.
So that is his way to storytell. It's his way to act. In comparison to Backrooms, which is all show, don't tell, he does a lot of tell and not showing. So it's an interesting comparison, and, like, just kind of going back to, like, previously, what we even started with, which is, like, YouTube movies, is the reason we're talking about this, is, you know, YouTubers adapting something into a feature-length media where it goes from niche audiences to a more generalized audience who might not recognize these people's work, where, like, you know, people who went out to see Iron Lung, for the most part, I think they were all fans.
Yeah, I think those are most, like, Markiplier fans.
Yeah, but, like, my dad and my family were interested in the Backrooms. I don't know if they saw it yet, but I remember telling them, like, yeah, he's a YouTuber. By the way, he's 20. I
think the difference just for, like, Iron Lung to Backrooms is also Backrooms did start as a 4chan post. So it's been around for significantly longer. Mm-hmm. Like, the idea, the concept of the Backrooms is something that's been known for at least, I think it was, like, 2005 or something that post came out. It's been like 20 years since that post. Yeah. So it's something that has circulated. There's also, like, on TikTok and Instagram, they'll be like, oh, like, what liminal space are you based on your birth month or something, and your probability of survival.
What Backrooms level are you?
Yeah, and that was, like, before the movie came out.
Yeah. So
the concept of Backrooms had been around, which I think did help when they're like, oh.
For internet people.
For internet people. Because
I had to show, like, I showed my dad the original, like, first Backrooms YouTube video. He was really into it.
It's a good video.
Because, like, whenever, like, they had, like, because not even, like, the monster stuff, just whenever it's, like, the liminal spaces of him, like, going into holes or something like that, my dad would go, nope.
Yeah.
Shouldn't do that. Or went right back to Backrooms.
Yeah. I was going to try to bring it back to Iron Lung, just in, like, Iron Lung is a horror movie, but I wasn't...
I don't think it was scary.
It wasn't scary.
I'd say it's a thriller. I wouldn't say horror.
It's, like, almost, like, watching just one person be tortured, essentially.
It's almost like
he is a prisoner, and they lower him into the submarine, they weld him in, and he can't get out. He is destined to die. There's nothing,
like, from the beginning.
He's begging. Like, his whole thing is, like, I'm begging for my life, essentially. Yeah. And eventually, which that was one of my gripes with the writing, is just his sudden turn on being okay with dying.
Yeah, I don't know. Because it kind of just came out of nowhere, in a sense of, like, he is constantly battling the sense of, like, oh, I don't want to die. I want to live. I didn't do anything wrong. And then it kind of went... And the butcher thing also was my biggest gripe, in the sense of, like, oh, he's the butcher because he killed so many people, cut down the tree, whatever the fuck. He didn't.
Someone else did, and he took the fall.
He didn't even kill anyone. Yeah. Like, the only way that people died is because he had left or something like that. And it's like, then you're not a butcher.
No, you're just...
You're, like, a bystander.
Yeah, you're a bystander. You're complicit.
Like, he's more complicit than anything. And I guess that's kind of like, that's kind of what I was trying to think the theme kind of was, is that he's more complicit. And that's why he gets put in these situations, is that he's just complicit. He's just going to go along with whatever in order to survive, rather than being, like, an active part, which I guess kind of sums up, like, the movie as a whole, which is he was complicit the entire time. then he reaches a point where he stops being complicit and he makes a
Becomes
choice.
active. Yeah.
And because he makes a choice, that's whenever he, I guess,
Become like kind of starts to become part of the Eldritch.
well, because he was already he was destined for that already. Like, that was happening to him. But like
Yeah.
his choice was to give the information to the surface, or not.
If I'm honest.
He shouldn't have given the information to the surface.
Oh, I was actually gonna say don't get me wrong, love Markiplier. When we saw it, I was starting to fall asleep.
I did hear that from a few people whenever I talked about it, is that they were falling asleep.
We had a long weekend, and I had to work, and then it was like a 9-10 p.m. showing. So I'm
Which
like,
I'm gonna talk about theaters with that.
which like I do think is part of it, but I said earlier, I think about 20 minutes could have been shaved off, and that would have prevented me from.
Because there were
feeling
multiple
that
scenes of him just navigating.
and it wasn't even that scene. I think it was he was having like hallucinations of someone talking to him over the PA system.
Yeah, and
It
then
was during that part where I kind of like that's like the fuzzy moment of I don't really remember, but I remember the beginning and I remember the end. I remember him going under and he's like trying to fix it under there, and
I did
there's the
kinda
blood
like
coming
that.
through because that there was stakes and tension in that moment because it's you can drown.
Yeah. Which, okay, what are you staring at?
Anyway, movie theaters.
Why did you just stare so intensely?
Movies, theaters.
Yeah, I was gonna say the movie theaters because like he released it independently. He didn't have a studio deal, which is in comparison to all the other YouTube filmmakers that have
Like
been kind of like been
Obsession, Backrooms.
Yeah, he did this independently. So like getting it into theaters was more of like him and his team personally having to ask the theater companies, hey, can we show this? Blah blah blah. You know, revenue split, because that's one of the biggest things about revenue with like theaters is that like it goes to the studios and it goes to like the theaters and the split there and whatever else. So they had to personally manage that, which is why it had limited showings. Which is why the times are also weird.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, there wasn't an option to just make it the way that like, you know, Backrooms and like Obsession, which both have studio backers, like A24 the Backrooms, they had the marketing there. They had the ability to like literally do billboards. Markiplier, it's all coming out of his pocket and his team, and like
it's all his team
and his marketing
fans.
is social media. It's going on to YouTube, live streaming, and then saying, hey, post about this.
Yeah, it was a lot of like, I need your help to get this
they made
to where it
trailers.
is.
He just asked people to make trailers.
And like it's interesting because despite that, the movie still did really well in theaters.
Yeah, it was like number one for the weekend or so.
That like theaters were contacting him to be like, hey, I'm getting a lot of things that might be spam emails, and he's like, no, it's literally just my fans, and they're all a little autistic and don't know what to say, so they're kind of just copying and pasting each other's things and sending it to theaters.
Yeah, just because it's like, you know, his fans are passionate.
Very passionate. That's also how he was able to keep Edge of Sleep in the top 10 on Prime for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they were like just going and putting it on to
getting
just
his fans and like his influence. I will say like the way that he uses his influence is very. I feel like that's the ideal way to be like a celebrity in a way, instead of just doing the whole like, you know, immediately using it to like rocket yourself into something else. He goes, I'm going to personally ask my fans to do something for me instead, because he's using directly, because it also kind of makes it more a team effort rather than it being like a sense of like.
Because then even when it was doing really well, it wasn't just like, I'm doing so great. He's like, guys, we did it.
Yeah, and it creates a story there where it's like you as a fan, as a viewer, are contributing to the creation of this. And that doesn't say like, you know, oh, Backrooms doesn't have its fans, or like even Curry Baker with Obsession. it just has like, you know, studios. They had studio backing. I know the Obsession budget that's been talked about for a while now. It's $750,000, and then it's grossed like millions.
200 million, something like that.
But like again, did have studio backing there. Did have like a bit more help. Backrooms had the most because A24 contacted him.
Yeah, and A24 I think is.
A24 was like it's still the indie studio, but it's like
it's
the biggest
like the
indie
big
studio.
Indie guys that are like pushing out Midsummer and like Ari Aster films. They did I Saw the TV Glow.
Yeah.
Like they just have a lot.
They have a lot more backing. They have a lot more resources. They have a lot more celebrities where it's like, let's try to get, because I don't know if any super known names are in Obsession.
I don't believe so. I think the main girl, she
only made like, what, 8K?
Well, I was going to say, wasn't she a Twitch streamer?
Yeah.
She was playing
Twitch streaming.
Call of Duty.
But I mean, it kind of just goes into the whole like budgeting for film and like media in general, where it's like, you know, actors are not coming for the most part from money. A lot of them are waiters and waitresses and doing whatever other jobs in the meantime until they can secure something that can be more lucrative to like continue doing it. Good example that I know you'll love is Heated Rivalry. Fucking Hudson and Connor were both just waiters, and then got a deal to make the show in like what 30 days, something like that.
Yeah, it was like 6 weeks or something.
And then they were able to skyrocket their careers. Like Connor on SNL, you have Hudson being
like,
a Balenciaga friend or family, whatever they call it. So it's like, you kind of just have to like pray. Not even pray, just like you just
gotta take a chance on like a passion project sometimes.
It's passion, and then it's that like honestly I'm gonna say it's just passion, like more than just having an idea that is trying to make money. It's having a passion where it's like the project itself is something that you can care about as a creator, but also like people can connect to in some capacity.
And I think what's been happening, because like the same weekend, I think like Obsession and Backrooms, there was also a Star Wars movie, which was just being completely
Mando and Grogu.
Like just nothing was being heard about it. Like
I mean, but there was so much marketing for it. It's just like the problem with it is that like people are kind of like
we're having the exhaustion of like being like nostalgia baited into things.
Yeah.
And so people are turning to more unique and individual new ideas, or like
everything's Disney, and now we're looking for other things to watch, other things to do.
Did you see the like they're releasing a new movie and it's basically just the Owl House?
I do think so, maybe.
Yeah, they've released a new trailer for
Hexed. Actually, I just watched the trailer for it.
And it's...
And she has magic powers. And not the Owl House. Not the Owl House, because Luz, I forgot her name, Luz, whatever. Main character doesn't have magic powers. She's a human in the witch world, and then she uses a different way to create magic, where she has to... I watched the show. So she has to handwrite all the magic things, and whereas everyone is just straight up like they have magic powers. So kind of yes, but kind of no. The trailer for Hex I did watch, and I was just kind of like, oh.
And it unfortunately
it's like, alt baiting in my head, alternative vibe baiting. It's
alt baiting, and it's also just, I don't know, the animation style that Disney just for some reason continues to cling on to. Like the 3D. I can't watch it anymore because all of the AI slop videos
I
on
genuinely
like Twitter
thought it was
and
an AI generated. When I watched the trailer, I thought it was an AI generated.
Like the way that it's so bouncy,
different studio, and then I saw
is
Disney.
Literally just so AI that like people are now saying like, with animation, we want to see it not be as cohesive and smooth unless it's like you can tell that they've put months and months and months and months of work into it, where this kind of just looks like they fed a prompt.
It doesn't look
they all have
all.
the same face, like I don't know, there's a lack of creativity and integrity happening in a lot of big studios versus smaller studios. Like, I was even gonna, because you mentioned like theaters and stuff, and I was also gonna mention Glitch doing the theatrical.
We need to do an entire episode on Glitch sometime.
But that was like another one where, similar to Markiplier, like so many people wanting to go see it in theaters.
Yeah, actually, isn't it like the most grossing movie? I think it outgrossed like Obsession 2.
I don't know.
I could be wrong on that. Let me check.
I don't think it'll outgross Obsession simply because Obsession is still playing in theaters. Amazing Digital Circus finale is not. That was like a very limited run, but it made a lot of money in the short amount of time that it was in theaters. I think it was like 350 mil. I think Obsession is
38.2 million.
38.2 million.
And Obsession 290 mil.
Yeah.
Iron Lung?
That was like 35, I want to say.
Which, that's 10 times profit. 51. But yeah, but the fact that Amazing Digital Circus limited run, which I want to say more limited than Iron Lung, maybe not, I don't know. Actually, probably not.
It came out, like, I want to say June 2nd, and it's been running.
It's still running?
I think it stopped running this week, since the finale is just going to air on YouTube on Friday.
True. Well, by the time that this is uploaded,
it's already been out. But
it's already been out.
For 4 days, something like that.
Yeah.
A couple days. But, yeah, we haven't seen it yet. But, I don't know, there's just a lot of people wanting to support
they want new things, they want independent things.
Ideas, new things that you can tell people actually care about.
Yeah. Compared to, like, just mass producing something because you can. Whereas if you put care into something, you make choices into something where it's like, because it all ties back to YouTube. YouTube is about caring. Like, you can mass produce work, like the easy reaction channels that like Jack's Films had like a whole beef with. I don't know if you saw that. He had a whole beef with Sniper Wolf specifically about like, and just channels in general that like quickly, easily mass produce reaction content where they're not actually like making something new. But then you have so many YouTubers and just creators who take so much time and effort to completely craft something new from scratch, and they're doing it so passionately, especially animators. I love YouTube animators. They're doing some of the most interesting creative things just from like, there's one guy, oh my god, I don't even remember his name. I subscribe to him, but he literally just takes a clip from like a song and then makes an entire like 1 minute animation about that, and it's just, I've loved it. I think it's Rude Jack art. Very cool. I like his art a lot, what he does. But like, yeah, like YouTube is really producing a very like great just artistic community just because it's more original and people are, you know, having to look for these things.
Yeah.
You know, which is why Glitch is, you know, doing, well, Glitch doesn't, you don't need to look for it anymore. Glitch is taking over. Like, anything that Glitch produces now is getting millions of views. Billions even? I don't know. But, you know, YouTube animators are one thing, and like that's why it's really important as a filmmaker, funnily enough, to just put films out on YouTube. Because if you make your films and just put it on YouTube, it doesn't necessarily need to get like a ton of views. It just matters like that it's out there and someone can find it, and that you can just learn and just keep going and do better.
And also like start that short film, because it can also make its way into some kind of feature film. Like
Paranormal Activity?
I think Paranormal Activity Smile is another one.
Start
like,
off as a little YouTube video.
Like the first scene in Smile was basically already, like, and it was the same actress and everything, like, he had the idea sort of from that and then grew it into Smile, and now that's also a very successful movie series at this point, because you haven't seen Smile 2, but
I haven't,
really
but I will
It's
watch
better
it
than
because
the
I
first one.
really like the actor who I know does not make it in the beginning, who made it in the end of the movie, the first one. I forgot his name, but he's also
he's,
in
he's in a bunch of stuff.
He's in Dinner in America, which is I want to say kind of indie movie. I liked it a lot. I don't think you've seen it, Dinner in America. He was also in The Passenger. Wait, is it also called The Passenger? Are there 2 movies called The Passenger that we were talking about?
Well, didn't
Vaguely?
you say Passengers?
No. Passengers is another movie with a space movie. Wow. Hold on, there's another Passenger movie. Let me make sure. Is it The Passenger and Passenger? Literally, The Passenger is the one I'm talking about. 2023. Passenger is the one that just came out. But The Passenger has Kyle Gallner, who I really like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's also...
He's in Smile.
Yeah, he's in Smile, and he's in Jennifer's Body. He's the like grungy emo boy she eats.
Wow, spoiler.
It's been out for so long. I feel like
I'm just
it's...
saying. But I really like him as an actor, so yeah. I would love to see him in a Markiplier. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, YouTube is a great ground to start creative work in general. And that's kind of the gist of this conversation.
Go YouTubers.
Another YouTuber who I think that needs more, who's underrated completely. He's just a filmmaker, but he also animates. He was in Smiling Friends. Joel Haver.
Joel Haver?
Joel Haver. He makes short films. And like I forgot what year it was. He made a short film every single month. No, actually, it wasn't a short film. It was a feature-length film every month.
Damn.
Some of these were just one single takes where it's just like him and his friends renting an Airbnb and they just filmed and improv'd. The one that I liked, and I think I showed people, I don't know why I liked it the most, but it was literally just called The Text. And it was supposed to be like the day after they had gotten really drunk and they were hanging out, and like this guy had sent a drunk text to like his ex or something like that. So then the entire movie is just like him going, "Hey, is this bad?" And his friends read it and they go, okay, hold on a second. And that was the entire thing. I think he actually made a sequel called The Email. I haven't watched it yet, but Joel Haver I really like because he passionately is about making movies more than anything else. He independently just wants to make movies. He talks about movies. That's all he does. I really admire him, what he does there. And I had a thought. I'm losing it. Oh, he has another thing. I think he still does it, but essentially instead of like watching the Oscars or whatever like award show it is, he does a competition where during the the award ceremony, not even the ceremony, the entire showing from the beginning to the end, it's a competition for people to write, film, and edit an entire short film, and then enter it in to post it. And like that's like a whole thing in itself, where it's like instead of like just letting these people with like millions of dollars talk about movies and decide movies that aren't for everyone, let's make our own movies during that time. Because hey, you spent years making this movie and it wasn't great, we're gonna spend hours making this movie because we're passionate about making movies. So yeah, Joel Haver. YouTube movies. Okay. You got anything else to say?
I really want to do a cartwheel.
What?
I don't know, the whole time you were talking, I just kind of started to feel an urge to do a cartwheel.
That's why you were quiet? Because you just wanted to do a cartwheel?
Yeah, I was thinking about how good I think a cartwheel would feel right now.
I think we're done then now.
You should subscribe if you want to see me do a cartwheel.